Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanasia Renee. I am a registered respiratory therapist. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. And if you are returning subscribers, I'm glad that you guys are still hanging on. I know, it's been a long time since I have uploaded any videos. I think my last video was maybe 8 to 9 months ago. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely been a minute, compared to how many times I normally will upload on YouTube. But to my new subscribers, I'm glad that you guys have joined this side of the team, because there are a lot of interesting videos which I'm sure you guys have already looked at because you subscribe to my channel. So I'm very lucky and very appreciative of all the new subscribers that I did get over the course of the time that I was not active on YouTube. This video right here is an update video because there has been a lot going on and a lot of changes. So that is the main reason why I'm wanting to come on here and update you guys about things that's been going on. I have been getting a lot of requests for certain videos. I haven't gotten a chance to get to those to actually film them because there has been a lot going on within the time frame that I have been off of YouTube. So I'm definitely going to work on those now that I'm getting back on YouTube and now that I'm starting to post. So let's go ahead and get into it. So just to give you guys a little bit of background about me that are new on my channel, I am a new graduate from a respiratory care program. I am post 3 years, wait, hold on. 24 post 2 years of graduation. I've been in RRT for a year, but I've been working in respiratory for about 2.5 to 3 years. If you guys watched my videos while I was in school, I did mention in those videos that I did start a job as an intern in the respiratory department, where we actually did everything that a respiratory therapist does, but we just didn't work in the critical areas. But if we did have to be under our supervisor, which is our attendee that we have to work under. But normally they let us go out on our own, and if we need any further assistance, then that's who we were to look to if we needed help, and then they would just basically guide us on what we need to do and what they would recommend us doing, to make it easier for us to kind of, do our thing. So I've been out there pretty early before I even graduated from my program. So I will say that a lot of people that I have gotten inboxes from, and I did get in comments that were telling me that they were starting a new job as an intern or an extern. I did make a video on the difference between the extern and internship. So please take a chance to just take a moment to look at that video, because there is a difference in what your job description is, but also it just depends on the facility as well. So I worked as an intern for about a year. That was my last year of my program. And then by the time I graduated on December 8th, I was already studying for my CRT, and I passed that on my first try on the 22nd of December. And then I went straight back to work after I moved back home to Alabama. For those that do know, that I am originally living in Alabama with my family. And after that, I studied and studied, and I passed my RRT in April of 2023. So I have had my credentials and everything for about a year now. So I've been able to practice and actually do more critical things since I've gotten my RRT, which I will explain in future videos. So far, I love what I do. I've always said that sometimes when you actually graduate and you work in your field, some people actually get a taste of what it's like to be a respiratory therapist, or whatever they feel like they want to major in as a career, a permanent career, temporary. Some people do things temporarily because they need to do it at that time to kind of get a head start on some stuff. And some people do things in the medical field to kind of get their leg up in certain situations. I have done that, so I'm not really new to the whole situation there. But we've definitely had some situations where I've had friends and family members that have pretty much worked their way up the ladder in order to get where they are today. So I always tell people that are new to my channel, that are here, or that may inbox me on Instagram or even message me on YouTube, that it's nothing wrong with coming in as somebody whether it's housekeeping, working in the cafeteria, you know, wherever you feel the need that you can get your leg in a hospital, somewhere that you could see yourself working long term until you figure things out, you can always do that. There's nothing wrong with that. So I have definitely done that. I worked as a nurse's aide for about, I'll say like 3 years, and that kind of made me change my decision on wanting to be a nurse because of how much wear and tear it does on the body. So in my opinion, it just was something that I just didn't want to do anymore, because I don't never want to do something that I would regret. Because don't get me wrong, I love the medical field, and I would always, I knew, and I know to this day still that I would be a bomb nurse. I would be a bomb nurse. But that wasn't my goal after working at bedside, doing the things that nurses do, but not being able to kind of keep that same passion for it afterwards. Like, don't get me wrong, I was good at my job. I did my job, and the nurses I have worked with, I still continue to work with as a therapist that are still working on the same nursing floor that I started off with. They'll tell you that when I came through and my patients I had, all of them A1. They'll tell you. I've never had any complaints or anything about my job, but I just felt like that just wasn't what I wanted to do. And of course, you know, my friends were kind of like, you know, dang, you know, we wanted you to, but you know, sometimes you have to do what works best for you. And sometimes you have to kind of shift gears a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I talked more about that in some of my sit down videos. I think my titles are pretty much straightforward. I don't think I kind of mixed it in with a day or life or anything like that. So hopefully, you know, if y'all go back in my videos, I may even tag them in here, but y'all know I'll always put the links in the description box, so y'all can go ahead and click on it and go directly into it if y'all haven't already looked at it. So that was a long background. I meant to do a short one, but I guess, you know, y'all know I get to rambling. The ones that are used to me being on here, that's why my sit downs are so long. But y'all know I love to talk. But back to what I was saying. But as far as the background of where I started and what when I started, before I started my program, I did all of that, graduated, got my credentials and everything, and I started practicing as an RRT. Now, the difference between the two, I will say that, you know, I have learned a lot of things, and I have dealt with specialty patients in special cases that have really had me, you know, really using what I learned in respiratory school. And sometimes in certain situations, I have actually heard my professor speak about certain situations, and I could just hear her voice in the back of my head saying, you know, don't embarrass us, you know, when you go out here working, you represent, you know, the school and everything like that. So I very much could always hear her voice in the back of my head when I am hit with something different. But I know she's gone over it, because she always taught us, like, if you're ever in this particular situation, this is what you're supposed to do. So I kind of looked at that certain situation, and then I kind of went from there. So I've definitely learned a lot of things. I've definitely feel like there is more for me to learn. And the fact that I'm on here even sharing this with you guys, and what else I'm going to tell y'all not going to understand that the way I'm going to take y'all with me when I do the rest of my journey on what I'm finna tell y'all going to be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So I really do think that this is and was the right time for me to get back on YouTube, because I felt like, you know, when I did have a chance to check my YouTube and everything, I would see the comments, and a lot of the students that have got under my posts have really appreciated my videos, to where I have gotten them broken down into layman's terms, where a person who's not really medically equipped with like medical terminology or certain procedures that they might not have understood during a lecture or during anything like that. I think these videos of mine, I try to tweak them to where I would understand when I first started out in the medical field, because let me tell you, I didn't understand a lot of stuff that was going on in school. But yeah, I didn't really know everything. Excuse me. I didn't really know everything going into the medical field, so it was definitely a learning experience for me. So I know if I can go in here and do something that would help the next student or students, I wouldn't have a problem, doing that, because I feel like it would be something that I wish I would have had moving forward. But luckily, our instructor was very informative and she did a lot of things for us throughout our program. So it was just solely her, and also getting the clinical experience too with our clinical advisor that came in and kind of corresponded with her way of teaching and kind of implemented that in the clinical setting when we did go to our hospital sites and do everything that we had to do. So that was something that was very it was very unique, because I've been in certain classes, whether it was my prereqs or whatever, and sometimes the teachers used to be a little not so good, sometimes overly not good. So to have a good instructor throughout a program that's going to take us far in our lives was very beneficial, because we have done clinicals with a lot of other students that have said that their instructor was not really good and they felt like they didn't really understand or retain any of the information because it wasn't broken down to where they could understand and take it with them, and then next class time it's gone, it's not there. So I've always been really appreciative of the way that we were taught and the timing that I came through to be a therapist, because it definitely came in on time, and it definitely helped me with a lot of things financially and just mentally, with just being able to make decisions that would benefit a patient and make their lives better. So that was definitely something that I really benefited from, and that a lot of people on my channel can benefit from, because what I get, I always give to y'all. So I always want y'all to have as much information coming from me as possible. So definitely look for that, on my channel, because I've written down all the requests that I've gotten, so I'm gonna go in order. So I'm gonna basically just try to post something every week, and if I do have time, if I'm not working, I can probably push out 2 videos every week like I used to do, but I'm gonna try to aim for that, maybe more, depending on if they're short videos. But enough of that, because like I said, I can go on, and y'all know I like to talk. Also, I'm 32 years old. I don't have any children, and I'm basically single, And the only reason why I am mentioning that information is because that's what's gonna lead to the new information that I got going on now. But like I said, I've been working at my current job right now for almost 6 years. This is the same facility that I was working at when I was a nurse's aide on a progressive care unit, and I worked that for both night and day shift. After my 3rd year, like I said, I transitioned over to departments of the respiratory department, and then I started practicing down there for about 2.5 to 3 years. So I've been at this same facility for a while. I have had some experience working in the state of Georgia. I do hold my Georgia license, my Alabama license, and my Florida license. I recently got my Florida license, I want to say a week ago, and it did come back pretty quickly. I was told by some people who did have their Florida license that Florida is almost the easiest state to get your license. And also, disclaimer as well, and very important tidbit, if any of you guys are watching this channel and y'all either are respiratory therapists already and y'all hold a Georgia license, under no circumstances do you let that license lapse, because it is very difficult to do the application process, because they've changed so much stuff now. And I don't know if you guys hold a respiratory care license in the state of Georgia, but I've had my Georgia license for about 2 years. This is my 2nd year right here, and when I tell you the way they've changed everything, it's kind of like an unfortunate thing, because a lot of people that I do know from my program have not passed neither part of their certification test. They only held the temporary license, which allows you to still practice in your state depending on the stipulations of which their laws are for respiratory care, you can still practice. When I last was there, they've changed it where you can't, that they no longer let the new therapist hold a temporary license, even if you are still in your program, and you have to have your CRT in order to practice and hold a license in the state of Georgia. So everybody that had a temporary license, if they did not have their CRT or RRT, they were basically going to lose their jobs. Well, they did lose their jobs, and they weren't able to practice anymore until they were able to take their test and show proof that they passed. And unfortunately, there are at least 2 people that I know from my program that didn't have either of their board exam certifications. So it wasn't a good thing for them. So I feel really bad for them that they ended up having to lose their job. But because it was changed by the state of Georgia, they've even put it where if you were still practicing under that license, even if it didn't expire, you and the facility would be fined. And you can find that information on the composite board of the medical board of respiratory care. It is up there now, but luckily, since I already had majority of my application process in there from my last license and nothing's changed, they only needed maybe 1 or 2 forms from me, and I was able to get my license back pretty quickly for my professional respiratory license versus the temporary license that I held. So definitely look out for that. If you guys do have a Georgia license, please be mindful of that, and also make sure you're reading the information that you're getting from the composite board, or any type of state, or any state really that you hold a respiratory care license or even a temp license. Make sure you read like all the details to make sure that that license won't lapse after a certain time, or if they give you a certain time to get your CRT before your temporary license is no longer valid. You know, always make sure you look into that, because that definitely made me look at things. But again, I have both of mine, so the stipulations are a little bit different. Also, I did have experience, like I said, working in the state of Georgia, but I no longer work at that facility anymore due to family issues, but nothing like negative, but more so like a family member that has a disorder that's, well, I'll say the disease, but it's dementia. My grandmother has dementia, and it has progressively gotten worse, but she's still able to function and do things for herself, but just with like standby assistance. But as far as like her memory and everything, it's gotten a little bit worse, to the fact where we had to intervene and go down there multiple times to try to see if we can see what's going on, and see how, compare the different trips that we've had to make to see if it's gotten better, to the point where we see some progress based on her medications that we had to get changed after we took her to the doctor and everything. And the disease itself, I hate it because it's very progressive. So I don't even know if that was the right term to use for that, but it's very aggressive. Like, it doesn't matter what medications you take. It's almost like they can help, but it's like a temporary fix until the next day. Like, the patient still can be angry, but it's almost like, you know, the medication kind of calms it down, if that makes any sense. But recently, we've had to make several trips after that. So that's basically the reason why I ended up having to leave that job, because I had to tend to my grandparents, which I don't regret at all, because you have to always put family first and yourself, because if you're not good, you won't be good to anybody in the hospital. And I've always told people to always take care of yourself first. And y'all, I said this was gonna be a short video, but this might be probably maybe a 30-minute video, maybe 40. Hell, it might be an hour. I don't know. But I feel like y'all, you know, I owe that to y'all. And also, y'all don't mind my little hour videos, because y'all be down with whatever I have on here. So So I just wanted to make sure y'all were updated as far as like why everything was going the way it was going. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on with that. So that was the reason why I left that job, but I maintained my Georgia license even after that. Um, I did just stay at my one job for the remainder of that year, and then after that, and then I ended up getting like a position at a rehab center that was also a nursing home. So I was able to work there and pick up extra hours. That was kind of like it was like a chain to my main campus hospital, but it was considered like a PRN position over there, which kind of helped me kind of do a little bit more because there was only one RT scheduled on days and nights. So when you're there, you're the only respiratory therapist there. So anytime there's an emergency coming in the ER or on any of the floors, you have to be ready for it. And honestly, I thought that was a pretty neat thing for me to get to experience, because I do pretty good with codes and everything when I'm at my main hospital, but when I'm at that rehab center, I feel like I can really like put my skills to the test, because I don't have the other therapists there. I don't have, the help that we normally would have going into a code at the other hospital versus this one. So it kind of gives me a different perspective of what needs to be done, how I need to be more in a leadership role, because the nurses, the techs, and sometimes even EMS, if they're still there, you have to utilize them like you would the other therapists that would already be assisting you on what you need. But in this aspect of things, you have to direct the nurses, the techs, on what you need them to specifically do, because you have to also keep in mind they're not respiratory. They don't really know what the name of certain things are. They just know their roles when they come into a code or an emergency that comes in at a drop of a hat. So you have to always kind of keep yourself prepared for any type of situation, especially when you're working at a facility where it's only one therapist there all night and all day. So you have to kind of be, on your P's and Q's, and I think that kind of helped me do a lot of that as well. So I don't regret working there at all. And I always tell people, if you feel like you want to work, I wouldn't recommend you being a fresh therapist in the field working at a rehabilitation center or any facility that has only one therapist. I would at least wait until 2 years before you get thrown in a situation where you can actually feel more comfortable with your skill set and just basically just going in there and doing what you need to do. Until then, just take your time, ask questions while you're getting trained, ask questions while you have downtime, do what you need to do that works for you, so that way you know what you need to be prepared for afterwards. So that's what I ended up doing, because I always felt secure with just 2 jobs versus just one, because sometimes you just never know when they may cut back on hours or you may need to leave the job like I ended up having to do. So me picking up that second job at the rehab center was definitely a plus for me. But like I said, I continued working at that main facility and the rehab center for like almost a year, and I continued to do my thing and kind of get more experience in the critical care areas. And we've gotten a lot of C-babes, which you guys should be familiar with. But those are like the primary 5 respiratory disorders that a lot of people struggle with, because the seasons are changing, because certain triggers that might be around the house, some places that they may work, anything. So if you guys are not familiar with C-babe, I will have that listed in the description box, or you could easily just look it up. It's very easy, and I'm sure you guys that are outside of, I want to say maybe the first, the second semester window, y'all should have already went through like y'all pulmonary diseases and everything. So those you don't want to forget. C-babes, you don't want to forget, because a lot of those questions on those board exams are strictly C-babes. But that's pretty much what I've been doing with that. Like I told y'all, I did recently apply for my Florida license, so that's going to be a fun experience. But this is the tea that I wanted to tell y'all, because again, y'all know I have to put some information, some informative information on here for you guys to give y'all tips and everything like that, because I want to see y'all succeed. I want to see y'all do better. I want to see y'all just continue to strive and share your experiences with me, even publicly post them under the post so everybody can see and y'all can kind of like interact with each other, because again, we are a respiratory family. We are basically like striving and bouncing off positive vibes for everybody. So this is the announcement. I put my 2 weeks notice in at my job, and I have decided to do traveling. Like I told y'all, I've been in respiratory for about 2.5 to 3 years. So I've gotten outside of that 2-year window of what they would expect you to have when you're traveling or just working at any job that might feel like you need to at least have a 2-year experience, especially if they're taking a new traveler. What made me decide to start traveling is because I've always wanted to travel, but like I've always told y'all, I've had experiences at work, some not good, some great. But like I've always told y'all, if y'all are ever in a situation where you feel like you have done everything that you could possibly do to maintain your mental health, your physical being, just overall your spirit, you know when your time is up in a place that you've given almost close to maybe a decade to, and you need to move on to other things. Even though it might be some place that you're comfortable at, it might be a place where you feel like you've worked really great with the people, but you always want to be in a situation where if you have to take yourself out of a situation, then you do what you have to do to move forward. Does that mean that you're going to move forward in the negative situation? No. Does it mean you're going to have to come back to that facility? Some cases you may have to, but we're going to go out on a limb and say that when you decide to leave someplace, you need to look forward, never backwards. Because 9 times out of 10, if you ever have to go back, then the experiences that you've had before is not going to be any better than the ones that you're going to experience after you've gone back to that facility. So I had some things go on that I felt like my time was up there and I needed to move forward, because I can't even lie to y'all, I feel like some people who hold the common sense mentality, and what I mean by this is, of course, it definitely means you as a person have common sense, but also you do what's right. So in situations where you do what's right and you feel like you can go home and you can sleep peacefully, knowing that you've done everything you needed to do and you did everything the right way, and other people feel like they want to just either get by or they try to fight with you about doing the right thing, you don't want to surround yourself around those people. You want to move forward and you want to expand your knowledge, your common sense to be an even better leader. And I feel like with that being said, I'm one of those people where I can't do things the wrong way that could endanger a patient's life, that could endanger anyone's life that's at that's pretty much, you want to be fair, you want to be equal, you want to be all the things. So whenever anything is compromised that is involves your integrity or anything that you know you live by, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to separate yourself, and you have to look at your list of goals. Because I don't know if I mentioned in earlier vlogs when I was in school, but I made I got one of those notebooks. It doesn't have to be like a specific notebook, but it can just be a regular journal. And I definitely made some goals for the year. And one of my goals on the sheet was basically like to travel and what places I wanted to go to, what I wanted to do next for my education, you know, just everything that I wanted to do. So that's definitely something that I made sure I went back and looked at to see, like, what did I write on my goal list? What did I want to do? What do I see myself doing now that I'm having to take myself out of that stressful situation and move forward to do better things for myself? Because there's way better and way more things to see that will help you become a better therapist, become, just a better person. And then you may end up finding out things for yourself that you didn't know about yourself until you went out there on a limb and did what you needed to do. There are some people that are traveling fresh out of the program, and that's cool for them, and that's good. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, you do that. But don't go if you don't feel comfortable. Always listen to your good. Always listen to your good. And because you never want to do something you're not comfortable with, and then something happens, and then you basically say, well, I didn't have a good feeling about that. You don't want to do that. So that's definitely something that you want to do, moving forward, when you take yourself out of a situation, whether it's life, whether it's a car purchase that you regret, or maybe something you're thinking about but you feel like it's not the right move financially. You do what you have to do to get forward, to move forward, but to also move forward in the right speed. Never move in somebody else's speed, because that'll never work for you. Always stay in your lane and what your speed is. Your speed is never going to be somebody else's, because we both don't have the same resources. We don't have the same sense of train of thinking when it comes to certain stuff. You may have a train of thought where you thought of something you think would only work, but when you have somebody else come in that has like a more easier but subtle way to do things that will make it easier for you, they may need to contribute that to you and make the ideas that were separate come together and be easily utilized in a situation to get the job done quicker or better in a decision or whatever. So always make the right decisions when it comes to certain things. Don't ignore your feelings. Don't ignore your gut feeling, but always make the responsible decision. Make a responsible decision moving forward. Don't just use your emotions and make a decision. You do what you're supposed to do and you move forward. Like, always be prepared. So when I chose to put my 2 weeks notice in, I had already started applying for other jobs that were taking, so I think I applied for 2 different ones. I applied for external and internal contracts that were being offered at the time, mostly in the state of Georgia. I didn't do anything in Alabama. I don't mind working in Alabama, but I do love working in Georgia because I feel like you get to see a little bit more. But I've never worked at any other facility in the state of Alabama, so I can't really compare the two, because I've only worked in the state of Georgia and the one job I do have in Alabama. But I ended up finding a travel contract that's 8 weeks, so I will be starting that travel contract in the next couple of weeks. So my last day at my current job will be this week on, let me see, will be Saturday. So Saturday will be my last day working at the facility I've been working at for about 6 years. I still can get references and stuff like that. Like, that isn't an issue. I have a huge network where I can get references if I needed to. Everyone pretty much was very, very sad to see me go because they didn't know. But I had to break the news to them, but they were very, very supportive and very helpful with anything that I needed. So that's the best thing about being able to do that, because regardless whether it's just 1, 2 people, 3 people, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you have the support that you need from your fellow employees that understand your view of things and respect what you do. So like I said, the travel contract is 8 weeks. I'm excited about it because it's not very long, but I do have the option to renew that contract once it gets towards the end of being done. I did go to the facility today to do like my drug testing, just the general stuff, blood work, all of that stuff like that, and filling out paperwork and everything. It was basically like secondary paperwork because they gave me everything I needed to do through my email. So I was able to get all of that done. One thing I will say in here is that all the videos that I did have of me showing y'all some stuff, I probably won't be able to show you much of anything when I do start traveling, but I will always kind of like update when I park at the facility, when I leave, stuff like that. And if there's anything that I can show you as far as me being on break or whatever, I will. Because I don't know if y'all know, but there is some stuff that's been kind of leaving the medical field and vloggers in an uproar, because apparently on TikTok there was something stemming over there from that, where a nurse made videos and exposed a lot of patient information and the patient themselves. But I don't know the full story, but they ended up losing their jobs. And I think anybody who basically like posted anything medically was let go from their jobs. So that's another reason why I haven't been really vlogging like that, because I was working all the time. So y'all know I would always, talk to y'all on my lunch break, talk to y'all in the car, just anything. But I wasn't able to do that because I didn't want to risk me losing my job, out of nowhere, and then having to come on here and tell y'all to avoid that. Once I saw that was circulating, and then a few other people that I follow was saying the same thing, I said, well, when I come back to YouTube, I'm just going to keep it cute, because I don't have time to be getting fined or whatever they do if you're not working at that specific facility, but just causing some issues. So that's going to be a change on the channel too. But I'm excited. The position is still night shift. I'm still going to be working night shift. Once I'm done with that, I did get my Florida license because I do want to travel to Florida possibly after this assignment is over, because they did have some assignments out there, but because I didn't have my license in hand, they did not take a pending license, because if any point in time they needed to change the start date, I would be able to, do what I needed to do. But anything outside of that, they pretty much was looking like, we need somebody that has license in hand, that they can start like now, maybe like next week or next 2 weeks, to give them time to kind of like do the drug testing, paperwork, background check, all of that stuff that takes a good little time to come back. So that was the main reason why I made sure I said, well, let me take a local assignment, and then once it gets close to being over, I'll look and see what the assignments are looking like in Florida, and then me and my friend can go ahead and travel to Florida together, do some assignments, and then also just kind of go from there and start going to other states. So we're definitely looking at starting some new documentaries of a traveling RT, all of those things. So that is like another big thing that's going to be coming to the channel, and I'm excited about it because I've been looking forward to traveling, but I had like another the rest of this year before I actually started, because I wanted to travel starting somewhere in January or February. But since the circumstances have changed, I said, well, it's meant for me to do what I need to do and start traveling sooner than I thought. So I'm excited about it. It definitely gives me some different views on networking to different places, since I originally worked in Georgia before. So this is just a new environment for me, new everything. So I'm definitely excited about seeing what is in store for me next. I prayed about it and it's come through the way it needs to. So most definitely looking forward to keeping that journey and the traveling and everything on my channel, so you guys can see what all I got going on, what experiences I'm having at what facilities, and just to give you guys my opinion about it. Because honestly, y'all know I'm gonna tell y'all my real opinion about stuff, because I want y'all to have the raw, uncut truth about how it is to travel as an RT, what the money is like, what the area is like, what the cost of living is like, just all the way around raw, uncut information. So most definitely look for that on my channel. So yeah, my background looks similar to my apartment because I purchased my first home, you guys. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom brick home. It's in a very nice subdivision, and my neighbors and everybody in the neighborhood is very nice. My neighbors are very, to themselves, older people, so they have very family oriented around here, and it's a very quiet neighborhood, just like it was when I was staying in my apartment. I closed on my home this past January around the week of the 22nd. So, just to give y'all a quick rundown, and I'm gonna try my best to make this quick because y'all know I get to talking. So, the closing process and everything was easier than the actual process of getting the home. I want to say the hardest part of the process itself was just getting to the closing date, because it was always something going on that the seller wanted to change, wanted to renege on some of the stuff that was placed in the actual agreement. It was just a lot of stuff going on that took the closing time longer because of the back and forth and everything like that. But luckily for me, I had a realtor that was taking care of everything. But in a sense, it was like I had to step in some occasions because the seller wasn't communicating through her person. So it was almost like you had to continuously call her person to stop her from doing the things that she had to do that was unnecessary. So the seller, I think, was the hardest part of the whole entire process. But the only reason why I didn't have a problem going forward with the sale was because the house is beautiful, the neighborhood is very lovely, and it's very quiet, and it was a really good look for me as far as the layout, because I had the specific layout planted in my mind of how I wanted my home. I love an open home. I love, having certain rooms set in an area. I just like an open layout. So when I saw this home, it was definitely what I wanted. Everything was where I wanted it to be: the bedroom, the kitchen, the living room, the 3 bedrooms, and the extra bathroom, and the master bathroom was definitely what I wanted, and the size, the closet, everything. So it definitely gave and checked off all the boxes of the layout that I wanted for my first home purchase. And I would definitely say this is my forever home, because I didn't want to pick a small space that I would soon have to, upgrade into a bigger size, because I feel like when you're making a big purchase like this, you want to pick something that you can grow in. In this home, I can definitely grow in. I'm not going to do a home tour because it's just for me to have my privacy and everything like that. And just kind of like, I will vlog around the house, so you'll get to see some bits and pieces, but nothing like too much where I would have to like show y'all everything. So I would definitely be vlogging around the house, so you'll definitely be able to see like parts of the house, but just not full images, full viewing, I mean. But other than that, yeah, y'all, I purchased my first home a year after graduating from respiratory school, and I just want y'all to understand that it is doable. It is doable. And I didn't realize that until I started getting myself together on my own and kind of doing and following the steps of kind of getting my credit repaired and just kind of going in with certain things. So it definitely takes a lot of work to get to where you want to be. But if you're already doing what you need to do and fixing the things you need to fix, you will get to where your goal is set, and you definitely will see the result of your hard work. And every time I wake up in the morning, God willing, I look around this house and sometimes I still can't believe I got my own home. But it's been like the greatest thing and the second best accomplishment that I've made. My first one was actually graduating from college and achieving all the awards and stuff that I achieved from my hard work, to now finishing both my certifications and being able to live my life. And then not only that, I was able to purchase my own home by myself with no co-signer, no nothing. I was able to do it myself, and I am very, very humbled and blessed and appreciative of my success and everything. So I always come on here and share the news with y'all because I want y'all to see that it is doable. Like, it doesn't matter what you have, whether it's your associate's degree, bachelor's, master's, whether you're just a CRT for right now or an RRT, because baby, I saved majority of my money that I had when I was just a CRT, and when I got up to RRT, I mean, going ham on the clock, like clocking in. Anybody need extra time? I was clocking in. And I made sure that once I finished getting overtime, I will always go back and work my regular schedule, maybe 1 week out of my overtime week, and see the differences within my checks, so I could see if I was to go in this range of pricing with my regular check. Once I'm ready to kind of calm down, am I going to be able to afford the mortgage, my utilities, everything that I like to do on a personal side. Like recently, I just came back from Vegas, I want to say in March. So we went to Vegas, me and 3 other friends that I work with at the hospital. We went to Vegas to see Nicki Minaj, and we stayed out there for like 4 days, and we saw so much. I probably will do like a another video putting in clips and everything, but it was so much beautiful stuff out there that we couldn't do everything, but we did have a really great time out there, and I do see myself going back. So I went to Vegas in March with my friends. So that was 2 months after I purchased my home. So you can do what you want to do. It's just that you have to budget your money right. You have to do everything that you need to do, and you have to set priorities. When you have priorities set, you can do whatever you want to do. But for right now, you have to do what makes sense. I want to say for right now, I don't have any more updated news that I can think of. This was pretty much everything that I wanted to update you guys on. Again, like I said, I'm going to be working on those videos. If they're not up by this week, at least the first one, it will definitely be up next week, because now that I have time to actually vlog. Also, if there's any more suggested videos that you guys would like for me to make, just let me know, because I am going to be switching some things up on my channel, like I said. And then also I did get some questions about the link to the PDF version of Mark Vargas PowerPoint. I did put in the last video, which was the CSC, I think, video, that I was only going to do it until the end of, I think, October of last year. I think because I had, it was something going on. I can't remember what it was, but that was the date that I gave in that video. I've had at least maybe 2 or 3 people inbox me for that PDF version. I will see if the link that I have still works, because the link that I had where I was sending you guys the actual PDF, that was through a link that I downloaded and then copied it and sent it over to you guys. That's why you guys were able to click on an actual PDF and not a link. So that link may have expired, but I will repost the CSC video to this one, and then you can go under the description post and click on the link to the actual Mark Vargas site, to where you can purchase the PDF that's up there, because that, I think, will be the easiest way, because like I said, I don't have access to that link anymore. And then second, I believe he's gone down on some of the prices because he's broken them up, because before he had the TMC connected with the CSC, but now they're separate. So whichever version you're studying for, you can just buy that version separate. Also, I forgot to tell y'all too that I ended up changing my major in school. I'm not doing the healthcare administration anymore, and that's mainly because of the classes that I was having to take that was required for that. So I ended up changing my major because of the classes that was required to take for that. and I didn't want to do accounting and all of that stuff, so I made sure and kind of did my research to see what else was I interested in doing, because what I'm wanting to gear towards is possibly teaching, but not in a school, but more so as a clinical coordinator in new grads, and kind of educating them on the basics and the general information they would need to know when they first are coming in as new grads. Because I've seen a lot of people come in, including myself, that knew the general information as far as vitals, lab work, stuff like that, but when it came to certain situations based off stuff that we did not have, you have to improvise. So I didn't have the help and the guidance that I needed when I first got out on the floor to deal with a critical situation that I should have never been put in that situation. But when I come on here, I always make sure I tell you guys my own experience, so that way you guys know what to look for, how to approach a situation different. So that's what I would like to do. I would like to be like a clinical coordinator that comes and goes in, trains and educates new grads and people who are coming in as new respiratory therapists, whether that is an experienced one that feels like they need a little refreshing up, you know, just whatever. I want to do that, so that way nobody experiences just being thrown out there and just treated like, you know, new meat. Because I always feel like nobody should be thrown out there when there's a patient's life at risk. Regardless of what you feel like you need to do, this is a different situation. This is not like you throwing somebody on a floor at a convenience store and they're just learning how to do the register. You mess that up, you can always fix that. But if you mess a patient up, it may not be a situation that can be fixed. So I always make sure that, you know, if it's nothing you feel comfortable with, speak up. Don't just go into a situation and you mess up and now you're dealing with your license being yoked before you even get it, because that will mess you up, and then you would be wasting all your time in respiratory school to where it just wasn't worth it. So I ended up changing my major to respiratory, so I'm just going to focus on getting my respiratory care degree, my bachelor's degree. The program is online like my other program was, so I don't have to worry about that interfering with anything that I want to do on the road while I'm traveling or anything like that. I'm only taking 2 classes per semester. Those classes are like, so far the 2 classes that I did take were very good. I do like them and they're very informative, and I've been able to use some of that information when I was in the ICU last week, I want to say. So it was very interesting to know that there's advanced teachings to respiratory. So I'm looking forward to that. And what has in store for the remainder of the program. So that's something I definitely want to do. So I'm looking forward to furthering my education to where I can accomplish my goal of what I said. And then whatever else comes into play, you know, I don't have a problem doing that. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, you guys, I'm washing clothes and meal prepping and everything, because I do go back to work tomorrow. These are my last 3 days I said that I have to work before I'm off until my travel assignment starts. So I'm going to get this video edited, and then I'm going to post it on YouTube, and then I'm going to wait for you guys to comment and let me know what y'all think. I do appreciate you guys for subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate my new people that have commented positive things about my videos, and I'm definitely going to be posting more. I think my first video that was requested for me to post was ABGs. So look out for that video first. And y'all, I'm coming prepared, because I do have a white eraser board that because this is my office that I'm in now. So I will put up that whiteboard up here, or maybe in the background here, and I will actually run through everything with y'all. And I still have my books of like old questions of ABGs and stuff like that. So, and I may even think about going live. So maybe we can go live and y'all can come on and maybe like give y'all an answer, and then I'll talk you guys through it. But I will still post an actual video for you guys to actually be able to rewind back and see what I say. But that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing anyway, because I'm gonna do two ABG problems, maybe a third one, and I'm gonna have it on the side here typed in on this side, and then I'm going to talk you guys through it and maybe even put a question up from one of my assignments that I had back in my program, so that way you guys can kind of see the clues and what I've chosen to take out that was important to stick with, so that has a lot of a huge reflection on what you would actually choose as your answer. So I'm gonna get off here because like I said, I have things I have to do, and y'all know I like to talk. So I will see y'all in the next video. Again, thank you guys for holding it down while I was gone. Thank you to the new subscribers and everybody who have come to my channel, wrote sweet things, and that have liked my videos. My videos are doing very well. So I'm looking forward to bringing you guys on my journey. Feel free to comment any issues you guys are having in you guys' program where it might be something that you don't understand. Y'all know what I like to do. And I'm on YouTube almost all day as far as checking my notifications. And I have it coming directly to my phone. So if you guys do comment, I have it set up now where it will come directly to my phone, and then I can go straight in and comment right away like I was doing before, because I did take a break too. So y'all go ahead and do y'all thing. I'm gonna go ahead and get this video edited and post it today if you guys are watching it, and then after that I'm gonna start working on the next one. So y'all have a good day, and I hope y'all have a great rest of the week.